In the last class, we started discussing osmosis, right? If you can recall, we started studying the structural organization of the cell. हमने सेल की डिस्कवरी के बारे में पढ़ा. We studied about the history of the cell. We studied about the contribution of various scientists that led to the development of cell theory and the understanding of the detailed structure of the cell. When we were done with that, we started studying the structural organization of the cell, and for the very first time, we started studying plasma membrane. When we were studying plasma membrane, we came to know that there are two methods through which substances can move inside or outside of the cell through plasma membrane. And out of those two methods, one was diffusion, which we have already studied, and another was osmosis. So we discussed osmosis as well, like what do we mean by osmosis. We discussed about the three types of solutions, and we also discussed that what happens to cell when they are placed in different kind of solutions, right? So that was all about the last class. Today we are going to discuss about the significance of osmosis and a term and a process called as endocytosis. तो अगर हम ऑस्मोसिस के सिग्निफिकेंस की बात करें, we have already talked about unicellular organisms, right? Unicellular organisms matlab organisms which are made up of a single cell. Should they also gain water through osmosis? Obviously, that's very obvious that they need water, right? In order to survive, in order to perform the essential functions. So they gain water through the process of osmosis. In addition to that also, we are very well aware that plants need water to survive, right? We are also very well aware. We have studied the process of photosynthesis, and we know that water is required in the process of photosynthesis. So how would plants acquire water? Plants would acquire water through the help of roots. जब आप किसी भी प्लांट को पानी देते हो, किसी भी ट्री को पानी देते हो, तो कैसे देते हो? रूट्स में पानी देते हो ना, सॉइल में पानी देते हो. सॉइल में क्या होती है? रूट्स होती हैं. तो आप सॉइल में पानी दे रहे हो. इफ यू आर वाटरिंग द प्लांट, व्हाट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग इज the roots of the plant or the roots of the tree that are present in the soil, they gain water or they absorb water, and the process through which they absorb water is called as osmosis, right? So this is the very important significance of osmosis, बिकॉज हमें पता है कि प्लांट्स सर्वाइवल के लिए कितने ज़रूरी हैं, राइट? प्लांट्स नहीं होंगे तो वी कैन नॉट इमेजिन आवर सर्वाइवल और ह्यूमन सर्वाइवल और द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ ह्यूमंस ऑन दिस अर्थ. और प्लांट्स को सर्वाइवल के लिए क्या ज़रूरी है? वाटर. एंड हाउ डू दे टेक अप वाटर? दे टेक अप वाटर बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ ऑस्मोसिस. ओके, so there's another term in your NCERT that is very very important, and the term is endocytosis. If we look carefully at this term, endo का मतलब होता है अंदर, साइटो टर्म यूज होता है सेल के लिए. तो सेल के अंदर जाना इज एंडोसाइटोसिस, राइट? अब सेल के अंदर क्या जाएगा, क्यों जाएगा, डाटा वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट, राइट? एंडोसाइटोसिस की अगर मैं बात करूं तो एंडोसाइटोसिस एक प्रोसेस का नाम है. व्हाट हैपेंस इन दिस प्रोसेस इज some substances or some food is brought it into the cell. And how is it brought into the cell? Because of the flexibility of plasma membrane. Just look at the figure that is being shown over here. ध्यान से देखो, the red particles that are being shown over here is, आप इनको assume कर लो ये कुछ फूड के पार्टिकल्स हैं, ये कुछ ऐसे सब्सटेंसेस हैं जिनको हमें सेल के अंदर लेकर जाना है, राइट? तो व्हाट विल हैपन इज, देखो पहले हमारी सेल मेम्ब्रेन में थोड़ा सा ग्रूव बन गया है, सेल मेम्ब्रेन थोड़ी सी नीचे डीप हो गई है, राइट? तो उसकी वजह से क्या हुआ, जो फूड पार्टिकल्स थे वो एक्यूमुलेट हो जाएंगे इस स्पेस में. दिस वाज द फर्स्ट स्टेप, राइट? आफ्टर दैट व्हाट विल हैपन इज, जो हमारी मेम्ब्रेन थी जहाँ पे एक ग्रूव बना था, वहाँ पे देखो बहुत सारे पार्टिकल्स कलेक्ट हो गए हैं, और जो मेम्ब्रेन है अब वो आपस में ज्वाइन होने की कोशिश करेगी ताकि एक वेसिकल की फॉर्म में पिंच ऑफ हो जाए. That is step 2. And carefully look at step 3. क्या हुआ कि ये जो हमारे वेसिकल थी ना, ये पूरी की पूरी पिंच ऑफ हो गई और सेल के अंदर पहुंच गई. So this is the process of endocytosis, or this is the mechanism how endocytosis works. तो इसके हेल्प से फूड को भी अंदर लिया जा सकता है या फिर कुछ और भी सब्सटेंसेस जो सेल के अंदर ले जाने हैं. So this is called as endocytosis, and the example of endocytosis is very important organism, amoeba. Amoeba acquires its foods with the help of endocytosis, right? Okay. So that was about osmosis and endocytosis. Now let's just move towards the next slide, that is cell wall. So again, giving you some recall that we started studying the structural organization of cell, right? And when we started studying structural organization of cell, we started plasma membrane. And now when we are done with plasma membrane, we are moving towards another membrane that is called as cell wall, okay? So if we talk about the cell wall, the very first question that arises is that name the organisms in which cell wall is present. Because we have already studied about plasma membrane, right? तो हम प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन को ये कह चुके हैं, हम प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन के बारे में इतना पढ़ चुके हैं that it is the outermost covering of the cell. तो फिर अब ये सेल वॉल कहाँ से आई? अगर सब में ही प्रेजेंट थी तो हमने पहले क्यों नहीं पढ़ ली? तो ये सब ऑर्गेनिजम्स में प्रेजेंट नहीं है. It is found only in some selected organisms. That could be plant cells, some fungi, and some bacteria, right? But not in animal cells, okay? Keep this in mind. This is very, very important that cell wall is not found in animal cells. If we think about the definition of the cell wall, it is actually a rigid outer covering, and kindly remember that if cell wall is present, it lies outside the plasma membrane, okay? So some students get confused that if it is present inside the plasma membrane or outside the plasma membrane. So always remember, if cell wall is present, it is present outside the plasma membrane. So now we'll be concentrating on the cell of plants, okay, or plant cells. So if we talk about the plant cells, the cell wall of plants is made up of a material called as cellulose. So now the question that may arise over here is कि cellulose ही क्यों? ये cellulose में ऐसा क्या है कि plant cells की cell wall cellulose से ही बनी है? So the cellulose helps to provide structural strength to the plants. That's why cell wall of plants is made up of cellulose, okay? You should always remember this line. This may help you to answer 1-mark questions because you can be asked a question like name the substance which makes up the cell wall of plants and why is this so important, right? So you should know the answer. Okay, so after that, now let's just discuss the functions of the cell wall. We are very well aware that where is it present and what is it made up of. Now let's discuss the functions. The very important function of the cell wall is that it permits the cell to withstand very dilute conditions, right? Now, when we were discussing osmosis, we have started that whenever cell is placed in dilute conditions, what happens is water enters inside the cell, right? We have studied, and when water enters inside the cell, there are chances that the cell may burst, right? क्योंकि जब water cell के अंदर enter करेगा, so what will happen? Water will exert pressure on the sides, right? We have studied in lower classes that water always exert pressure. तो जब water cell के अंदर enter करेगा, water pressure exert करेगा. And due to that pressure, there are chances that the cell may burst. So cell wall provides an advantage कि ये cell को burst होने नहीं देती. So cells can withstand hypotonic conditions without bursting, okay? So this is a very, very important function of the cell wall. So due to this phenomena or due to this character, the cells which have a cell wall can withstand much greater changes than animal cell. एनिमल सेल के सराउंडिंग मीडियम में अगर थोड़े से चेंजेस होंगे तो सेल को डैमेज होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा रहते हैं, बट अगर प्लांट सेल्स में सेल वॉल है और वहाँ पे ज़्यादा चेंजेस हो जाते हैं तो सेल को डैमेज होने के चांसेस ज़्यादा नहीं रहते. Okay. In addition to that, there are other functions of cell wall as well, that it provides strength to the cell, and in addition to that, that's very obvious that it also protects the cell against any physical damage, right? And also a very important function in addition, that it gives a particular shape to the cell, and when it is providing the shape, it also helps to maintain that particular shape. You have studied that there are various different kind of cells, right? Different shape of the cell. So those different shapes are maintained by the cell wall, and it provides the shape and also maintains the shape, right? So that's all about cell wall. Now let's move towards the next slide. So there is another important phenomena called as plasmolysis. Before going to the definition of plasmolysis, let's just concentrate on the name. प्लाज्मो वर्ड कहाँ से आया? साइटोप्लाज्म में एंड में क्या आता था? प्लाज्मा आता था, तो हम वहां से ये वर्ड पट करेंगे. प्लाज्म से प्लाज्मो ले लिया हमने. लाइसिस का मतलब होता है टूट जाना और ब्रेक डाउन, राइट? So breakdown of those plasma material is called as plasmolysis. अगर आप इतना याद रखेंगे, then it would be easier for you to understand the definition or to write the definition, right? Plasmolysis. So if we try to define plasmolysis, it can be defined as shrinkage or contraction of the contents of the cell away from the cell wall, right? जब सेल वॉल से दूर हो जाते हैं सेल के कंटेंट्स, क्योंकि उनकी श्रिंकेज हो जाती है, तो इस फिनोमेना को हम कहते हैं प्लाज्मोलाइसिस. तो नाउ द क्वेश्चन में अराइजेस कि ऐसा क्या हो जाता है कि प्लाज्मोलाइसिस हो जाती है या फिर सेल के कंटेंट्स का श्रिंकेज हो जाता है. तो द आंसर इज that whenever a living cell loses water through osmosis, कि जब भी हमारा सेल पानी को लूज कर देता है, हमारे सेल से पानी चला जाता है, तो अंदर पानी कम हो गया, राइट? तो कंटेंट्स की श्रिंकेज हो जाती है, कंट्रैक्शन हो जाती है, और इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? प्लाज्मोलाइसिस. नाउ लेट्स जस्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन द फिगर दैट इज बीइंग शोन ओवर हियर. देखो ध्यान से. फर्स्टली कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन द टर्जिड सेल. देखो टर्जिड सेल को देखो, हाइपोटोनिक सोल्यूशन में है, राइट? वाटर ज़्यादा है, सो वाटर इज एंटरिंग इनसाइड द सेल एंड द सेल विल स्वेल अप. The outer boundary that is being displayed in the dark blue color is the cell wall, right? So this is cell wall. Again, this is the cell wall and cell wall again, right? So let's just look at the figure, third figure. The cell is turgid because the water is entering inside the cell, right? If we concentrate on the second figure, place in isotonic solution, amount of water entering inside the cell and the water is also exiting the cell at the same time. So the cell is flaccid, right? ना ज़्यादा फूला हुआ है, ना ज़्यादा shrunk है. After that, now let's just concentrate on the very first figure, which is plasmolyzed cell. देखो इसमें क्या है? Hypotonic solution. So what will happen is water will exit the cell, right? Water will move outside the cell. और देखो इसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है? Outer portion was the cell wall, right? And what is happening is the content is shrinking away from the cell wall. देखो इन बाकी दोनों फिगर्स में देखो सेल वॉल के साथ साथ कैसे हमारा साइटोप्लाज्म प्रेजेंट है. नाउ लेट्स जस्ट लुक एट द प्लाज्मोलाइज्ड सेल कि सेल वॉल से कितना दूर श्रिंक हो गया है साइटोप्लाज्म, राइट? So the cell contents of the cell shrink away from the cell wall, and the phenomena is called as plasmolysis, right? So I hope it's clear to you. So that's all about plasmolysis. Now we are moving towards another important organelle that is present in the cell is nucleus, right? If we think about the nucleus, nucleus is called as brain of the cell. Now the question that arises, why is it called as brain of the cell? Now let's just think of the human beings. Human beings में brain का क्या काम है? Controlling the body, coordinating all the functions of the body, right? Giving the messages to the body, protecting the body. So in the same case, nucleus is called as brain of the cell, right? Controlling the cell, protecting the cell, giving orders to the cell, right? Maintaining the control and coordination of the cell. So all these functions are performed by the nucleus. If we carefully look at the nucleus has a double-layered covering, and those two layers are called as nuclear membrane, right? Membrane का मतलब क्या होता है? कोई लेयर, बाहर वाली लेयर, right? जो उसको कवर करती है. So when we started studying about the cell, we started about plasma membrane. That was the outer covering of cell, right? So now when we are studying about nucleus, we are studying about nuclear membrane, the outer covering of nucleus. When we carefully look at the structure of nucleus, we observe that there are some pores present inside it. कुछ छोटे छोटे से pores present है या फिर कुछ छोटे छोटे से holes present है, and we call those pores as nuclear pores. So that's very obvious that the nuclear pores are present in the nuclear membrane. Now the second question that may arise over here is that what is the function of nuclear pores? Now if we think about it is that they are present in the nuclear membrane, तो कुछ ना कुछ काम तो होना होगा, जो कुछ ना कुछ तो साइटोप्लाज्म में होता होगा, कुछ ना कुछ सब्सटेंसेस होंगे that would need to move from cytoplasm into the nucleus, and there would be some substances that would need to move from nucleus into the cytoplasm, right? क्योंकि न्यूक्लियस ब्रेन ऑफ द सेल है तो ये मैसेजेस तो देगा ना, मैसेजेस को ट्रांसमिट होने की तो ज़रूरत है, राइट? मटेरियल्स को ट्रांसमिट होने की ज़रूरत है. So the materials get transmitted, materials get transported with the help of nuclear pores. The nuclear pores allow the transfer of materials from nucleus to cytoplasm or from cytoplasm to nucleus, okay? Now the question that may arise over here is कि चलो ठीक है, न्यूक्लियस को ब्रेन ऑफ द सेल भी बोल दिया, इसमें हमने स्टडी भी कर दिया, बट ऐसा इसमें क्या है कि ये इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट स्ट्रक्चर है? So the nucleus contains genetic material. Genetic material matlab the material that is transmitted from one generation to another generation. In addition to that, this material is also responsible for maintaining the different activities of the cell. This material is responsible for maintaining and ensuring the survival of human beings or survival of different kind of organisms, right? तो ये जो जेनेटिक मटेरियल होता है ये क्रोमेटिन की फॉर्म में प्रेजेंट होता है. अब आप पूछोगे कि मैम क्रोमेटिन क्या होता है? तो जेनेटिक मटेरियल को ही हम क्रोमेटिन बोल देते हैं, और अगर हम इसको माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे देखें तो ये जो क्रोमेटिन है ना, ये ऐसे दिखता है जैसे बहुत सारे थ्रेड्स इंटैंगल्ड मास की फॉर्म में पड़े हों. मतलब बहुत सारे धागे जब एक दूसरे के साथ उलझ जाते हैं तो कैसे एक ग्रुप सा दिखता है ना, एक गुच्छा सा दिखता है, एक पंच जैसा स्ट्रक्चर दिखता है. So the chromatin looks like an entangled mass of thread-like structures, right? फिर अब आप पूछोगे कि मैम एक्चुअली chromatin होता क्या है? Now we have understood that what is the structure of chromatin, but there should be something, no, that from which chromatin is made. Yes, obviously, chromatin is made up of DNA and some proteins. Full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. So DNA and proteins together make up the chromatin. उसके बाद the second question that may arise over here is that we have studied that chromosomes play an important part. We have studied about chromosomes. तो अभी chromatin कहाँ से आ गया? See, the chromatin is actually the genetic material that is present inside the nucleus. But when the cell begins to divide, or at the time of cell division, this chromatin takes the shape of chromosomes, right? ये chromatin condense हो जाता है in the form of chromosomes, and at the time of cell division only these chromosomes are visible as rod shaped structures. Okay, let's just think of a situation कि आपने पहले माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे कुछ देखा तो कुछ एंटेंगल्ड मास पड़ा था थ्रेड लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स का कुछ इस तरीके से, राइट? जब हमारा सेल डिवाइड नहीं कर रहा था, अब हमारे सेल को सिग्नल मिला कि सेल ने डिवाइड करना है, तो क्या होगा? यही जो एंटेंगल्ड मास था ना, यही कंडेंस हो जाएगा और क्या बना लेगा? क्रोमोसोम्स बना लेगा, राइट? So that's why chromosomes are made up of chromatin. और chromatin क्या था? Made up of DNA and protein. So it's very obvious that chromosomes are composed of DNA and protein. Okay. So now let's just have a look at the structure of nucleus. अब देखो ध्यान से nucleus को. The purple figure that is being displayed over here is nucleus. Now let's just concentrate on the figure. आपको दो membranes दिखाई दे रही होंगी, the outer purple colored and the inner blue colored membrane, right? So these are the two membranes of the nucleus called as nuclear membrane. And there are some holes or pores also present on this membrane, right? So these pores are called as nuclear pores, and these nuclear pores allow the transfer of materials inside and outside of the nucleus. And those two nuclear membranes together consist the nuclear envelope, right? So this is a section. आपको ये section ऐसा दिखाया गया है जहाँ पे न्यूक्लियस को थोड़ा सा कट कर दिया है, राइट? न्यूक्लियस को थोड़ा सा कट किया है, तो जो सेंटर में आपको थ्रेड लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स दिख रहे हैं वो है क्रोमेटिन. क्रोमेटिन वही जो हमारा जेनेटिक मटेरियल है, और जेनेटिक मटेरियल क्या किसका बना है? डीएनए और प्रोटीन का बना है, राइट? तो ये तो बात हुई हमारे क्रोमेटिन की. इसके बाद आपको एक और स्ट्रक्चर दिख रहा है, दैट इज न्यूक्लियोलस, जो न्यूक्लियस के अंदर ही प्रेजेंट है, राइट? नाउ द क्वेश्चन दैट मे अराइज ओवर हियर इज कि न्यूक्लियोलस का क्या काम होता है? वैसे तो न्यूक्लियोलस बहुत छोटा सा स्ट्रक्चर है, बट इसका मेन काम होता है ribosomal RNA की synthesis. When you will go to higher classes, you will study that there are different kinds of RNAs that are present inside the cell. So out of those different kinds of RNAs, one kind of RNA is ribosomal RNA, rRNA, right? So nucleolus rRNA की synthesis करता है. बहुत छोटा सा स्ट्रक्चर होता है, बहुत कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट स्ट्रक्चर होता है, that is present inside the nucleus, right? So that's about the structure of nucleus. Now, if we think about the functions of the nucleus and if we think about the other characters of the nucleus that are also very important, when we were talking about the chromosomes, we should also know that what do chromosomes do, right? Now we are very well aware that the chromosomes are made up of DNA and protein, है ना? ये तो हम लोगों को already पता है. So, and we are also very well aware कि जो chromosomes होते हैं, they are transmitted from one generation to next generation, right? Whenever the cell divides, the chromosomes are transmitted from one generation to next generation. तो actually chromosomes के पास information होती है for the inheritance of characters from parents to next generation. Now the question that may arise is कि ऐसा क्या होता है क्रोमोसोम्स में या डीएनए में कि कैरेक्टर्स ट्रांसमिट हो जाते हैं, या फिर यू मे हैव हर्ड ऑफ इट वेरियस टाइम्स कि जब भी या आपको कॉम्प्लीमेंट मिला होगा that your features match with your parents or your eyes match with your mother or your face matches with your father or your nose matches with your grandparents, right? तो वो एक्चुअली क्यों हुआ? बिकॉज द करेक्टर्स आर इनहेरिटेड फ्रॉम वन जनरेशन टू नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. जो डीएनए है ना, वो पेरेंट्स से ही तो आया है, तो इसलिए वही डीएनए ही आगे जाके स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाता है. दैट्स व्हाई सम फीचर्स मैचेस विद द पेरेंट्स और विद द ग्रैंडपेरेंट्स, राइट? तो डीएनए के पास बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है which is important for constructing and organizing the cells, right? And the functional segments which are responsible for performing the different functions, and all the functions of the cell are called as genes. आपसे पूछ लिया जा सकता है दैट व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय जीन्स, द फंक्शनल सेगमेंट ऑफ डीएनए, जो सारे के सारे डीएनए के फंक्शन करता है, तो दैट पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट इज कॉल्ड एज जीन्स. ओके, so if we think about the functions of the nucleus, रिप्रोडक्शन में, सेलुलर रिप्रोडक्शन में न्यूक्लियस का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है, क्योंकि न्यूक्लियस के पास ही जेनेटिक मटेरियल है. वही जेनेटिक मटेरियल क्रोमोसोम्स की फॉर्म में अलाइन होगा, और जब सेल डिवाइड करेगा, जब सेल डिवाइड होकर एक से दो सेल्स बनाएगा, so the genetic material would also be transmitted into both the cells and plays an important part in reproduction, right? In addition to that, we have already studied that nucleus is called as brain of the cell. मतलब ब्रेन है तो हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि कंट्रोल एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन में इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करेगा, राइट? तो ये क्या करता है, जो हमारे सेल की केमिकल एक्टिविटीज़ है ना, उनको डायरेक्ट करता है, मतलब उनको कंट्रोल करता है कि कैसे कैसे वो एक्टिविटीज़ होनी चाहिए. एंड इन एडिशन टू दैट, उस सेल को जैसा भी एनवायरनमेंट मिलता है, वो सेल जैसे भी पर्टिकुलर एनवायरनमेंट में रहता है, तो न्यूक्लियस उस एनवायरनमेंट की वजह से डिटरमिन करता है कि एक सेल डेवलप कैसे होगा, या फिर उसमें क्या क्या फीचर्स आएंगे जब एक सेल मैच्योर हो जाएगा. The nucleus along with environment plays an important role to determine the functions of the cell, right? So that's all about the functions of nucleus. Now, nucleus is a very important part, and based on the nucleus and based on the organization of nucleus, organisms can be divided into two major categories. First is prokaryotes and the next is eukaryotes. प्रो का मतलब होता है primitive और पुराना, right? And the term carrier is used for nucleus. The organisms which have a primitive nucleus are called as prokaryotes. U का मतलब होता है true, and the carrier term again is used for nucleus. So the organisms which have a true nucleus are called as eukaryotes. Now the question that may arise over here is that what do we mean by primitive nucleus? प्रिमिटिव या पुराने न्यूक्लियस से क्या मतलब है? तो इसका मतलब है कि ऐसा न्यूक्लियस या तो जिसके पास न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन नहीं है, राइट? और we can also say it as that they do not have a well-defined nucleus. So that type of nucleus is called as prokaryotic nucleus, and the organisms are called as prokaryotes. So the organisms which do not have a well-defined nucleus or whose cells lack a nuclear membrane. And if we think about the eukaryotes, true nucleus है, true का मतलब whose cells have a nuclear membrane or which have a well-defined nucleus. Okay. So if we move towards the next topic, we first need to discuss about the prokaryotic cells. And because we are concentrating on the nucleus, so there is a term called as nucleoid. See, what happens is, in the prokaryotic organisms, example, bacteria, we have already studied that nuclear region is poorly defined because of the absence of nuclear membrane, right? But that undefined nuclear region is called as nucleoid. Kindly remember, in that nucleoid contains only nucleic acids, right? जैसे हमने अभी यूकैरियोटिक सेल का न्यूक्लियर स्टडी किया था, वी स्टडीड अबाउट द न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन, न्यूक्लियर पोर्स, राइट? तो इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Just concentrate on the figure that is of prokaryotic cell. ये एक बैक्टीरिया का फिगर है that is being displayed over here is, देखो ध्यान से, सिंपल सी बॉडी है और बीच में क्या है, कुछ न्यूक्लियर रीजन है जिसके आसपास न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन नहीं है, सिर्फ न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स हैं, और ऐसे रीजन को हम क्या बोलते हैं? न्यूक्लियोइड बोलते हैं, राइट? देखो ध्यान से, सेल वॉल भी दिखाई हुई है. Plasma membrane is also being shown over here, and we are very well aware that the only cell organelle that is present in prokaryotic cell is only ribosomes. Okay, the ribosomes are also being shown over here, and the long thread-like structures that you can see are flagella. Okay, so that's about nucleoid and the structure of prokaryotic cell. After that, let's just quickly discuss the difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Now we are very well aware that the size of prokaryotic is very small, that is between 1 to 10 micrometers, and 1 micrometer is 10 raised to power minus 6 meter, okay? And the size of eukaryotic cells is generally large and ranges between 5 to 100 micrometers. And we just discussed that the nuclear region is not well defined in the case of prokaryotes, and that region is called as nucleoid. And in case of eukaryotes, the region is well defined and is surrounded by nuclear membrane. Prokaryotic cells have a single chromosome. Eukaryotic cells have more than one chromosome. And another most important thing that we have already discussed various times, that the membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. In the case of prokaryotes, only ribosomes are present, right? And if we think about the eukaryotes, membrane-bound cell organelles are present. There are various kinds of cell organelles that are found in eukaryotes, right? That we are going to study in the next section: endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, plastids, lysosomes. So there are various kinds of organelles that are present in eukaryotes. Okay, so now we are moving towards the next topic, that is cytoplasm and cell organelles, right? But before moving to that, let's just focus on the structure of plant and animal cell. That is focusing on the eukaryotic cells now. देखो ध्यान से, the upper figure is of plant cell and the lower figure is of animal cell. प्लांट सेल में सेल वॉल भी प्रेजेंट है, एनिमल सेल में सेल वॉल प्रेजेंट नहीं है. So in the plant cell, cell wall and plasma membrane, right? And in animal cell, only plasma membrane. But the most important thing that you need to concentrate over here is, प्लांट सेल में देखो न्यूक्लियस थोड़ी सी साइड पे है, न्यूक्लियस थोड़ी सी पेरिफेरी पे है. Why? Because the center position is occupied by vacuole. जो वैक्यूल है ना, वो सेंटर पोजीशन ऑक्यूपाई करके रखता है, क्योंकि ये इसमें वाटर स्टोर करके रखता है, बहुत सारे और भी सब्सटेंसेस हैं उनको स्टोर करके रखता है, एंड हेल्प्स टू मेंटेन द शेप ऑफ द सेल. So always remember, whenever you draw the diagram of plant cell, nucleus should be at the side and the vacuole should be in the center, right? But if you concentrate on the animal cell, the nucleus is in the center. देखो ध्यान से, nucleus center में है और बाकी सारी organelles side पे हैं, right? We will be discussing these organelles in detail in the next section, but let's just look at some organelles. Name of the organelles. देखो न्यूक्लियस के साइड पे एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम पड़ा दिखाया हुआ है. कुछ मेम्ब्रेन्स के फॉर्म में एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम प्रेजेंट है. विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट RER एंड SER. Then you have been shown nuclear envelope, nucleolus है, right? Mitochondria है, ribosomes है. So the organelles are almost same in both of the cells, but there are some exceptions as well. There are some organelles which are found exclusively in plant cells. There are some organelles which are found exclusively in animal cells. So we will discuss all that in the later sections, but the one thing that you need to remember over here is the position of the nucleus is periphery in plant cell, is in center in the animal cell, and the presence of cell wall in plant cells and absence of cell wall in animal cells. Okay, so that's rest is all about organelles, and we will get back to this diagram again when we will be done with the different kind of organelles and their functions. Okay, so we will continue the topic in the next class. That's all about today's class.